to ask people some questions about the city.
It actually depends what beach you're in. I think like the underground culture is really nice in Gothenburg. Like the rave part. I think the harbor is before like port of Gothenburg has like the like main port for whole Scandinavia, and like all the groceries that comes from Sweden always goes like to Gothenburg. I think more and more like since we are like northern, like there was a little and Gothenburg is getting more and more like a big city. In the beginning, Gothenburg is obviously like a working city.
Yeah, fishing city.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what we are famous for. Fisk.
Fisk.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I think it will die out during the years, and I hope the big hangars will be available for rave parties. Instead.
Very special because there's a history with the harbor. It's a large harbor town.
Yeah.
So the traffic in the harbor have been diminishing during decades.
Yeah.
And before that, Gothenburg was a very active harbor.
Yeah.
So that's very special about it. We feel very sorry about that. That the
Yeah.
activity is diminishing in the harbor. And it's also very special because it's very close to the sea. It's nice, you can get out in the archipelago, the islands, and there's a lot of islands you can go to. And that's one thing I like about this. And it's the nature in the islands, and it's the shopping streets. There's a lot of restaurants and bars, and there's also Gothenburg is also known for being like a kind city to be. You can talk to people, they're not afraid for you. So it's good stämning. I don't know what to call it.
Yeah, good.
Det är bra.
Yes.
Yes. So that's one thing. And also there is quite a lot of different areas to go to. So there's not only the city here, the islands, but there's also the countryside, quite close. And you can go around a lot, both with the boats and the trams, and it doesn't cost you very much as a tourist. So it's quite cheap to go around and see a lot.
Yeah. Do we have anything else?
Can't really find it.
From the answers we got from the participants, we got an overall picture that the people were polite and friendly, and it was a safe town to live in. Especially young people told us that the underground culture were good and the parties were fun in the city. The more elderly said that the harbor still has a special meaning to the town, and they think that it has been diminishing because of the industrialization. It has changed from a big fishing city to a modern city. A participant said that the culture has changed in a way that the life doesn't revolve around the harbor as much anymore, but it still has a meaning to them because of its history, and as a beautiful place to be. It's the heart of the city and a way to get around on the beautiful islands of Gothenburg. But for the most people, they think that the harbor is losing interest to them and is losing its functionality, but still exists as a landmark. About how the city attracts tourists, we asked a lady on the street who looked like she knew a lot about the city. She told us that the town attracts tourists because of its nature on the islands and also the shopping streets, restaurants and bars. And she said that there was a good mood in the city and people was known for being kind and polite. She told us there's a lot of good places to go to, like the islands, the countryside, and of course the famous amusement park. The tourist center said that they're working on new brochures for tourists which makes it easier to navigate around the city to see the many sightings. They also announced that they're trying to put together a package of experiences so you can buy it and gain access to a lot of a different set of sightings for less money than it would cost if you bought them separately. From the questions we gave at the tourist center about how the city marketed itself to other businesses, we got some pretty specific answers. They told us that the city has a lot of conference centers companies can rent here in Gothenburg for meetings and deals. A significant factor is also the easily accessible transport around the city, like the trams, which makes it easy to get around to different meetings and landmarks. The location of the town is also pretty good because you can travel by sea to quickly get from Denmark to Gothenburg to do business. As we found out on the visitor center and after all that we mentioned earlier, the city is doing an excellent job in transportation and conference department to lure business people to the town. And the city has a beautiful shopping streets, amusement parks, museums, and beautiful nature on the islands. We therefore can conclude that Gothenburg is already doing a great job of marketing towards Copenhagen tourists. However, we think that they need to implement more services towards business people from Copenhagen. When comparing some of the two major cities in Scandinavia, Copenhagen delivers everything on its own that Gothenburg has to offer, like conference centers, easy transport, and decent hotels. Therefore, we find it hard to say why people from Copenhagen should do business in Gothenburg in the first place. One idea that we thought of was that since gender equality at the factories in Sweden is so well structured, Denmark could move their factories to Sweden. By doing so, it could in return bring more of Copenhagen's business production to Gothenburg, as they're geographically close to Denmark and there is an entirely practical transportation options due to Gothenburg's location by the coast. The salary is also quite lower in Sweden and expenses could be reduced by a lot. In that way, we think that Gothenburg could attract Danish businesses. If we took an interest in the equality movement, it would look good in an annual corporate social responsibility paper and be valuable for the people of interest in a Danish company.